Are you that kind of person who is so sure that this is the only way to get what I want or to get where you want to be? Or maybe you are the other kind of person who is constantly looking for a better option because this is just not good enough. And once I find it, I'll commit. And you're still circling around and you're not committing to it. And maybe a decade passed or a year and you still haven't found it. Well, good news. Both of you are right. But if these two are misplaced, because sometimes we have to stick to one thing and sometimes we have to be more strategic. But if these two are misplaced, we might get stuck into this limbo area where we can't open our eyes and see the other options, or we're circling, and we never get down to business. We're going to answer today four questions. The number one is how to see more options, other options, when they are not, seemingly they're not. How can we do something? The second, if I seeing that maybe there are more options, I do have more options, but there are not, you gotta do what you have to do. The number three, are we empowered to create options, or maybe there is a destiny thing, is something which maybe we're not supposed to do, and are we empowered to create options or not? And the number four is a framework which I'm going to share with you to encourage you, because I want you to feel and to know, not only to feel, what can you do? Because there are things which are around us, but there are things which you can do today. So let's begin. How can we make sure we're not stuck between one option and too many? So that you don't spend the best years of your life in one area or in the other, constantly circling around or just pushing into one direction and never looking around, and then the time passed by and then you start to see like, oof, I could have spent this energy much better or wider. So the number one, my first language is Russian, so I call it the hod konем. That's the horse move. If you play chess, you know how the horse moves, 1, 2, and 1 to the right. So this is what does that mean? The horse move is, if you are here and you want to get to the point B, and you have one goal, another goal, or options towards your goal, your point B. And sometimes we are so focused on these 4 options, or maybe 1 or 2, because these are the doors open in front of us, which are leading to the point B. But if you stop for a second and you realize, wait a second, I want to get to the point B, but why do I want to get to the point B and I don't want to get to another point, maybe here, maybe there? Why? Because after the point B, there is always something else. You don't want to achieve the point B, you want the point B because from here you already have an idea of how to get to the C and how from C to get to the D. If you stop just for a second and you detach yourself from what you're very focused on now doing, especially if you're that kind of person who's just on one thing and it's hard to see other options around, and seemingly you're working harder than anybody, but somehow others are moving forward, but seemingly you're left behind, or at least you're not accomplishing what you want to accomplish, what you've promised to yourself to do. And I've been in that area for so much. I remember conversations with my first business partners for the reason which we didn't go along because of me, because I was so sure this is the only way. And for that, it might go 2 or 3 years. So there is a stage in life, that's what I think, when we have to just push and work and accomplish some action, some experience. But there is the time when we have already accomplished something, we have already the experience, but we stay in that childish mentality and we avoid invest a little bit of time in strategizing and thinking. So if you stop now for a second and ask yourself, hey, this is my goal. You have a goal in the next week or next month or quarter. But what's the goal behind that goal? And what's the goal behind the other goal? In that way, you will start to realize, wait a second, probably, I'm not saying it is, but probably, I don't have to go to point B and then point C and point D. Probably I can go from A to D. Or I've been walking in my last 10 years, for example, A, B, C, D, E. Okay, you've got some experience, you understood the rules, now you know how the game works. Wait a second, use that experience to your advantage. So make sure that if your goal now is maybe you're in your 20s and you're gathering more experience, then walk it as fast as possible, A, B, C, D, so that you can start to understand the rules of the game. But if you already have some experience and you know you're 35 or 50, it's like the middle age is not 50s anymore. It's lower than that. That's at least from what I know. So you gotta stop and act and think. And I don't want to offend your intelligence, but we gotta start to think like adults, like mature people. Because very often I see these in entrepreneurs, driven, ambitious entrepreneurs, keep thinking like a child, moved by that ambition, by that raw energy, which is good, but to a certain degree. And then one is asking, like, my quality of my life is all over the place. I've just achieved one thing, but was this the thing I wanted to achieve? And is this the lifestyle I wanted to have at this age in my life? All right, so the horse move is asking yourself, what's the goal, behind the other goal? And start to see that probably it's not what you want, but it's what you want because of what you want. I want to remind you in the description below, there is a free access to a challenge if you want to go through 5 days challenge. Keep calm and build thy kingdom. Then feel free to join. The link is in the description below. It's free. Just click, join, and then all instructions are going to be shown after. So look a little bit further and train yourself to see slightly further behind of what's in front of you. Then number two. The number two, if you are that person, now we're going to lean a little bit more towards that area when we're circling around, when we constantly are thinking, well, let's listen what that billionaire said, or maybe that teacher said something, or maybe that, or another book, another was that, but we never stick to something, and then we don't gather the experience, and that doesn't transform us. If that's you, I want to bring to you a little bit of order in this chaos, because we have all these chaos, the desires and the character stands in our way, and other people, and it's hard, we need skills, there's so many things, and it's not easy to stay calm, to think strategically, to think long-term, to empower others, to lead your team, your family, your life. There's lots of things, all right? But that's great. I'm sure you love it. And sometimes these desires, these drives, sometimes they start to mess up with us. And they start to bring these chaos in our life. And then I'll say, like, that's not what I wanted. I just wanted to get things done, but somehow I find myself now in like gosh. Sometimes you might even think like, oh, I wish I didn't know. I hope you're not there. How do we bring some order within ourselves? The simplest one is to understand you've got fleshly desires, you have body needs, food, gym, massage, clothes, showers. You have mental needs and desires, which is your thinking, your drives here, your convictions in your subconscious, still mental, connected to the body. And you have spiritual values. If again, I'm going to sound a little bit harsh or aggressive. I don't want to offend your intelligence, but I've been in new age stuff like for so many years, because moving from neuroscience to psychology, so like from strictly biologically, then moving it a little bit more in subconscious into the unconscious and studying psychology and neuroscience, I lost myself. I'm a little bit ashamed to say, not ashamed, but like it's crazy when I look backward. But I always worship the moon. Like, okay, checking when is the full moon and the energy and feeling the stuff and the vibration and oh my gosh. But I can tell you one thing, my friend. All of those people are lost, including me. I've been lost for so long. Because if you try to submit your mind to your mind, which you want to submit to yourself and to out there something, at the end it's yourself, it's not the universe. You say the universe, it's not the universe, it's yourself imagining things, projecting things out, and that's just hallucination. So you don't want to, if you feel lost and you try to make the psychology or through psychology to find the meaning in your life, it's a dead end game, because you're going to go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper until you're going to become desperate. So I don't know at what stage you are now. So if you just want to find the meaning in the order through this chaos, is installing another chaos, that's gonna be painful constantly. I want to write to you from 2 Peter here, and then we're going to move forward. The idea of what I want to share with you here is that you gotta submit your physicality, your physical desires, to your mental desires. For example, your body wants to sleep, but you say no. You've got 7 hours of sleep, you gotta go to work. Your body doesn't want to go for the gym, but mentally, you have principles, you have values, you submit your body to your mind. But if you make your mind your king, you're gonna be destroyed and suffering, and you will always stay stuck wherever you are, in the only one option club, or in the too many options club. Those who think that this is the only way, and those who think that there is always another way. And you never accomplish things, you never get things done, because you get stuck. You need some order. So we've got to submit our physicality to our mental principles, but then your physical and your mental, you have to submit to the spiritual powers. And that's not just new age stuff projecting from your mind. I'm going to manifest, I'm going to feel, I'm going to think, that's hallucination. The God Spirit is a real thing. It is the only real thing to whom you've got to submit your physical and your mental aspect. Otherwise, you never get out of it. You just play these games with yourself. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 19. Let's do 18 and 19. For speaking out arrogant words of vanity, they entice by fleshly desires, by sensuality, those who barely escape from the ones who live in error, promising them freedom while they themselves are slaves of corruption. For by what a man is overcome, by these he is enslaved. By what a man is overcome, by that he is enslaved. So if you make your mind your king, you're going to be a slave to your mind. If you make your body, you don't overcome your body to submit it to your spiritual, to God, you're going to be enslaved by your body. If you don't submit your mind to your spirit, to God's Spirit, you are going to be enslaved by your mind. But if you submit your body and your mind to God's Spirit, you're going to serve and please God's Spirit. You're going to be peacefully, pleasantly, happily enslaved by God's Spirit, but not without the freedom, with freedom, which is another conversation for another day. So whatever you are overcome by, that's what you are going to be enslaved by. So make sure you ask yourself, what is the highest value which I put in my order here? True, spiritual, mental, and physical. So here's the thing, that back to our title, between one option and too many, how is this connecting to that? Well, if you don't have order here, you'll always think you have 1,000 options. Maybe I have to do this, maybe I have to do that. But when you have a clear list, hierarchy, ladder of values, things are going to be very clear and very narrow. Your mind starts to play tricks with you, no problem. You submit it to the Spirit's God's Spirit. This is valuable, good. What the mind says, I don't care. So it becomes much easier. Struggling? Yes, from time to time. Now, once you go through this and you do a little bit of just psychological analysis. Like, hey, wait a second, what do I want? Where am I going? And what's the goal behind that goal? Quick story here. Probably shared it already. I wanted to, during COVID times, I wanted to start a podcast, and I never spent even a minute thinking about, well, who would I want to interview? Who do I want to talk to? What's the value I want to bring? Like zero, not of that. But what I've done for a month, I bought the wood. I've done the tails for myself, the studio for myself. Like I've done it with my bare hands by myself. All the microphones, the tables, the lighting, the audio stuff on the wall so that the audio is good. All of it. The audio system which I keep using, I use now. And then I say like, oh, so now what do I do? It's a good experience, but it's a costly experience. And that was not an expensive, like extremely expensive tailor. But sometimes we might make dumb mistakes because we don't think just a little bit about, hey, what's actually the third, the fifth, or the sixth step? What do I truly want? So once you've done a little bit of psychological work, and then you start to realize that these has to be submitted to your spirituality. By that I mean to God, and not new age stuff, not just projecting hallucinations on the sky. After you've done that, then you move to the number 3, which is, so wait a second, if I have to submit this to that and that to this and both of them to God, then how can I see more options there? Can I create more options? Well, here's the thing, that when you start to focus on the right thing, according to your principles and to your values, your focus is going to shift. Now, many people are trapped into focusing too much on themselves, me including. I've spent so much time, best years of my life, being too focused on myself or on others, looking around. That's what he's done. That's what she's done. Oh, they've done this. Oh, this is coming. That's coming. And you're always looking around. I was always looking around at others, judging, criticizing, and thinking we're ending. And then it's like, oh, why they don't deserve that I should. And you lose your energy all over the place because that's where your focus is. Or you just focus too much on the world, what's going to happen to the world and politics and stuff. God is above all authority and all rules. If you look at the Colossians 2:5, see to it that no one takes you captive through philosophy and empty deception, according to the principles of the man, almost there, according to the tradition of man, according to the elementary principles of the world, rather than according to Christ. For in him all the fullness of deity dwells in bodily form and attention. And in him you have been made complete. And in him, and he is the head over all rule and authority. So, kings, kingdoms, everything. He is the head of all authority. I heard 2 days ago, somebody put it nicely. God is not running for God. God is God. So let's not forget about where is our focus and what or whom do we fear. And do we forget about who is the head of all authority and of all rule? Especially because Paul is using the word rule, and if you look in translations in Greek, then you might find that the same word is used also for demons and other stuff, like all these dynamic and forces and stuff, like even all of that. The authorities and all the other rulers which they try to mess with up here on earth. So make sure that you start to observe one thing. Wherever is your focus, there is where your wisdom, your heart is going to be. And there is where you are going to see options. Now, God has a plan for each of us. God has a plan for you, my friend. My brother, God loves you and he has a plan. But we also free men. And unfortunately, we are free to choose the wrong path. And in our ambition in our desires, in our fleshly desires, in our mental desires, we get confused sometimes, even for a split of a second, if not for days, and we forget who's above who. And then we say, where is God? Well, God gave you also the freedom to choose. He knows what you're going to choose. He knows because He's not in is everything which there is. But you're free to choose. So rather than you considering and receiving with greatness the gift of choosing, what do? We make the wrong choices, but then we say, but where is God? Well, have you submitted your body and your mind to God's Spirit? Have you talked to? Have you listened to? Have you meditated upon the God's Word? Or you just try to listen to the universe and to your subconscious intuition? There's a huge difference into it. So we are empowered to choose, but to create options, they are already there. We can't create options, but we are free to make better choices. And by choosing, by having the ability to choose indirectly, understand me please correctly, indirectly we create better options. Because that's where all our attention goes. That's where your focus goes. And God is going to bless you with more if you render yourself also to serve more. And you have a conversation with God and say, thank you, but I want to serve you more in this. Please guide me. And that's what I want to do. I'm going to wait for your response. And God is always going to answer. God has always three answers. Yes, yes, but not now. Or no, but I'll give you something better. Love that. Now, make sure the focus is in the right direction. So if you feel, again, in that situation where there is only one option, ask yourself, where is my focus? Is it on God? Is it God above all? Or am I spending my focus and energy looking around, judging the world, or looking at others, or extremely focused on yourself? If you're only focused on yourself, of course you're going to feel that you have only one option, wherever you are in business, in life, in every kind of situation. Because you're focused only on yourself, of course you see only one option, and then you say, life's gonna suck. That's kind of strange. God forgot about me or something because I just don't have many options. Well, you're just focused on yourself. And I don't want to offend your intelligence, but I'm ready to offend mine because for many years, I've been focused only on myself. Brother, I had only one option, to focus on myself and do things for myself. So by making sure you analyze and you ask yourself, where is my focus? But you can do that only if you decide what's in the highest place on your ladder of values. Then you can choose your focus. Otherwise, you can't focus. Here's one thing: you can't focus on things which are not valuable to you. You can play this game, but it ain't gonna work. Eventually, your eye, your heart, your mind is gonna go towards what you truly value. So unless you go deep within yourself and you decide for yourself what's more valuable, your body, your mind, or God's Spirit and guidance, you might trick your mind into focusing on the right thing, but in a few days you're going to find yourself back on the same thing which you value the most, because that's where your focus is going to go. All right, so make sure you find this correlation and you align them quickly to the number 4. Number 4 is an OPTION. It's an acronym for the option. So from wherever club you come, the club of the too many options, or too many, or between the on option, whatever is your club. Look, when you start to make the first step to commit, or you make the first step to widen a little bit, and to see what's around and how you can leverage your experience, your wisdom, and what's around you, and involve completely God in your life. Then number 1, when you are looking for another option, make sure your obedience is clear. The principles, you obey the principles which God has installed for you, even if you don't understand them completely. By practicing them, it is going to be open to you. You will receive the understanding and the wisdom along the way, my brother. I want just to remind you, Give it a try. And it will start to make sense. And you'll say, "Phew." That's how it starts to be. There's a guy, I don't think he's a Christian or anything connected to it. Hugh Chase. He once said, try at least for a week to move around as you would be moving through the water. Slow down. Observe what's going around you, but not in a judgmental way. Just be aware of what's happening within you and without and outside of you. Move as you would move through the water for a week. Slow down. And you'll start to notice things you never noticed before. You'll start to see options and things and realizations which you never thought you will experience. It's a great suggestion. I share that. Number 2, once you establish the obedience, you go to the number 2. Which powers do you want to please? The body, the mind, or God's Spirit? So when you're about to see other options or to choose some options, do I obey God's principle? That's number 1. Number 2, once you make sure you're good with that, you come to the number 2. Who is running the show? My body, my desires, my subconscious, some fear, some stuff. Make sure you'll go into that and you make sure which is the power you want to please, the power of the faith or the trust in God. You want to practice, which values you want to practice? The courage, the boldness, or do you want to please your fear, your doubts, and so on and so forth? So which powers are you pleasing while you are brainstorming and thinking? While you're doing that, number 3, T, transcend the mind. Don't stay stuck in your mind into trying to figure it out ahead. Comes the idea. It sometimes you might receive some ideas which they don't come from your mind. Okay, process them in the mind, but you gotta get over the mind. How do you do that? First, by calming down. 2, absolutely through prayer. But physically, what you can do is to relax and to slow down. And say, okay, let me not think about what's going to happen, how it's going to happen. Let me just go there where my passion is lying, where my skills are needed, who I can serve, what I can do, how I can help others. Go into where he's leaning and without trying to figure out all the consequences afterwards. Again, careful here. I don't mean by just going on impulse. That's a different story. Number 3, number 4, input the mind. That's very important. When you start to go over the mind, you'll start to use your imagination, your creativity, your faith, your trust, and you'll find yourself not ready. You'll say, oh my gosh, I want to go over there, but I don't have the skills, I don't have the powers, I don't have the money, and so on and so forth. Somebody wants to say, when God gives you a vision, he doesn't look at your bank account, he's looking at your faith and trust. Well, it is so. When I started my business through neurobiology and neuroscience, I thought I'm going to be a neuroscientist in the lab and working stuff, but then it moved to psychology, then from psychology into business, because that's what my degree comes from, then into business, and then I went back into psychology, and then moving forward. And I always knew I'm very passionate about the leadership and compassion and leading and learning and listening and helping. I always loved that, but I say, oh, come on, I'm not ready. I'm like where I am, and I have all this character and all this, I'm impulsive, I'm mean, I'm not good. But I always had that call in the back of my head, and where I've ended, exactly where I should have ended before, but God has a plan. So here's the thing, that if we could just have just a little bit of trust and faith into that call, which God is already sending to you when you're praying, when you're reading, when you're detached from the worldly stuff, you ain't gonna run away from it unless you really try to push yourself to do, as I've done. So in the end, you end where God is calling you to be. So make sure that after you get over your mind, make sure you start to put the right thing into your mind, the right books, the right people you talk. One quick note here is, I think everybody's wrong when they say that now we're the interest media. Gary Vee or somebody said this, we're in interest media. Sorry, not that they're wrong. That's exactly right, but that's the wrong thing to do for ourselves. What do I mean? If you're interested in tables, and then you're going to be fed all these kind of information about the tables, experts in tables, glass tables, and everything around the tables. You'll never become good at something because you'll be bombarded with stuff about the tables. What I personally think that is much better or a greater way to do is to find people, experts in your interest, and make sure you have a small circle of those people from whom you learn. Because if you're in the interest and you follow the trend of the media, you're going to end where the media ends. And we know very well where the media ends, where the trends end. But you don't want to end in the media trends. You want to end in the God's trend. And God's trend is become good at what you want, at what you are, at the skills you've given, because I have a mission for you. This is God's trend. That's why I don't suggest anybody, I think that's a great trap, to stay aligned to the interest stuff. No, follow the people and learn from, not follow, but learn from the people who you decide that, oh, they have great values, they have great principles, they have accomplished something, they have the wisdom, the experience, and that's from whom I would like to learn so that I can also improve on my mission, rather than being constantly exposed to so much information which is not just bits of other people's experience on their mission, if they do have one. Number 4 is input in the mind. Make sure you filter what comes in your mind, because your mind is always going to fight your spirit, and your mind is always will always want to rule your life. So you have to make sure what kind of food you bring into the mind so that it doesn't start to bother you and start to play crazy games with you. And the number 5, output the mind. Here's a great thing. Next time, after you brainstorm or you think about strategically about what to do, where to go, and how to move forward, after you've got some great ideas, don't stop there. Here's the biggest mistake you can do, to stop there. Because once you have these pleasure of like, oh, I got it. Oh, now I understand it. Okay, good. That's half of the work, half of the job. Now, what you have to do is to organize what you have understood, not what you've heard, what you've understood for you, output it in a very organized framework. Okay, good. That's what I understood. That's what stands out. That's what I value. Great. Now, what I'm going to do with it. So, input in them in your mind is great. But if the output from the mind is not balanced to the input of the mind, then you become like a trash bin. All the information comes in, you process it, kind of processing, but they're not processing, and you don't output. There is no output of your mind, from your mind. So you gotta, okay, good, that's what I'm gonna focus, that's the decision I'm going to follow, that's what I'm gonna do. And train yourself to make sure that the output from your mind is also well balanced to the input. That's the number 5. And number 6, once you make the decision, and it's not easy to move from the club of the one option club, or to move towards the more options, or to move from the more options to niche down and to start to commit to one thing. It's not an easy move. It's not an easy track. But once you go through these 6 steps, obedience, power, transcending the mind, input in the mind, output from the mind, and then you go into the normalize and nurture. Once you've made the decision, once you've made the direction, you're gonna stick to it, varying your options or niching down, normalize it. Because, like in the movie The Inception, when remember that moment when all the buildings and the architecture were just like bending like upside down. That's exactly what your mind is going to do when you start to make a new decision which doesn't feel familiar to your mind. Your mind is going to attack you. Your mind is just going to try to stop you from doing, because that's a perceived danger for your mind. So expect a bloodbath of a week or a month when you start to make bolder decisions, because your subconscious will try to attack you. So expect it. Now, let's not be naive that once we make the decision, then we're going to move forward and singing and God's going to bless us and everything's going to be like a walk. No, it's not. Your mind, your subconscious, your body is going to resist. And if you made the order in this chaos between body, mind, and God's spirit, then you are saved, because you know who listens to whom. And that becomes much clearer. So this is the framework which I suggest for you. Write down, maybe you want to take some notes about these 6 steps so that you can move from the one option and you start to see more options. into through understanding more about what you truly want, what's the goal behind the goal, through bringing order in your powers, the body, the mind, God's spirit, deciding where and what are you going to focus on, and to understand that your options are because of your focus, and the framework which you can use once you start to take action. Thank you for your attention. We'll see you in the next one. I want to remind you in the description below, there is a free access to challenge if you want to go through 5 days challenge. Keep calm and build thy kingdom. Then feel free to join. The link is in the description below. It's free. Just click, join, and then all instructions are going to be shown after. Well, thank you a lot. We'll see each other in the next video. And please also subscribe to this channel. This is going to support me personally and the team, which is helping me a lot. And this message can be useful for those who are in need. Thank you a lot. See you. Bye-bye.